for YouTube as well, and we'll have the recording for that, and we'll have recording for the Telegram as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, we can post that.
Guys, I'm stuck on just seeing the invite list. How do I get away from the invite list back into the main screen?
Slide right.
Sorry?
Slide right or left?
I'm not on my. No, I'm on my desktop. But okay, it's okay if I stay here. It's fine. Just want to see what's. Are you going to share any screens? Are we going to show any video or anything?
What are you going to be sharing? Sorry, Akash.
No, I just wondered if it's possible to share screens or
oh yeah.
Because we've got a video. Did you get the video?
Oh, right. I've not seen the video. No, I've been looking at the white
If we send you the link to the video, would you play it during this?
Oh yeah. What I can do, because the main chat's locked once we start the AMA. So yeah, if you send that to me in a DM, or
we can send you
chat,
exactly. We'll say. What's best thing to do there, Dave? Send the YouTube link or what?
Yeah, I'd say that's most stable, simplest.
Okay.
Yeah,
quality should be fine.
In the main chat, we can send him. We do post your socials when we lock the chat as well, and so
okay. So I'm just in a slight trouble here because I can't get away from the invite list. I can't get back to the main chat. Would you be able to do that?
What? I don't understand. Try to leave and join again, or
I'll leave and come back.
Yeah.
Because you have to do the capture. If you've not done the capture.
No. I don't think that was it. I think he was on the invite screen on Telegram. I think he was what he meant.
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm still on the invite screen. I can't remove it. I just can't get back to the main screen. But anyway.
Okay. Right. So yeah. So have you posted that? That's the All-Star video, right? So after we've locked the main chat, you can send that in there.
I'll do that in the main chat. YouTube.
I think wait till they lock the main chat, and then I'll send that video in there, and that'll be there for people to play. If you want to share your screen during the AMA with anything for the community investors, you're welcome to as well.
There you go. I'm going to put it. I've done it in the main chat. Yeah.
Okay.
See it? You got it?
I'll send that. Yeah. I'll send that again when we lock the chat, so it'll be actually there visible for investors to play.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Good stuff.
But do you want to share your screen and play that video as we record the AMA, or?
Well, I'm hoping that one of us could. Maybe you could. If you could, and we'll all just watch it together. That's not a bad way of everyone understanding the product. It's a really good icebreaker.
Right. Could you share that, Acti, with your screen?
I'm struggling. I'm stuck on the.
Yeah, just a second.
Acti.
Yeah, I'm getting
share
it.
And then we can do that. Awesome. As we start the recording, then we can play that video first, and then go into the AllStarsDigital project.
Amazing. Okay. Well, sorry, names then. So it's Glenn.
Yep. Akash.
And
Glenn and Acti. Yeah, Acti might ask you a question.
Amazing.
And we go to community questions after. Acti's live streaming it on YouTube as well, and we record that for you to share with your community afterwards as well. And I'll record the Telegram. So if you guys are ready, I'll start the recording, introduce you, and we can go into the project.
Yes.
Cool.
Welcome to the WorldCoin Talk community. I'm Glenn, your host. Today we have joining us AllStarsDigital. It's going to be the world's first digital sports exchange with sports star performance, analytical data, and lots of other details we can go into shortly. But first, can you introduce yourselves with your background and experience, guys?
Yes, happy to go first. Hello, everyone. Thank you for welcoming us to the WorldCoin Talk. My name is Akash Garu. I'm the Chief Product Officer for AllStarsDigital, and I look forward very much to telling you all about our project.
Hi, yeah, I'm Dave Young. I'm head of content and communities for AllStarsDigital, and so hopefully help you join in our mission to bring AllStarsDigital to the marketplace.
Hey everyone, I'm Youssef Mechahouri, and I'm the CEO of AllStarsDigital. Thanks for having us today with you again. I'm actually looking forward to speaking to the community.
I don't know whether Acti's going to share that video, and we'll start with that, and then we can work from there into the All Stars project.
Yeah, I have.
Do you want to introduce that then, Akash, if that's the way to go?
Yeah, well, so I guess somebody's going to share their screen. Well, this is a video that we put together for a means of like explaining our product, so that there's quite a lot of like moving parts in what our product offers. But hopefully, by the end of this, I think 90 seconds of your time, you'll understand exactly what we're trying to achieve in terms of a product and a project.
Just confirming, is the sound coming through?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
What makes an athlete truly exceptional? Power, skill, accuracy, vision. Today, we have insight on performance like never before. We can map out how our favorite sports stars are expected to play and measure how well they're doing over a game, a season, and even their entire career. Because sport today is driven by data. With AllStarsDigital, you can capture that data, then trade your players, and earn from their real-life performances. Watch your favorite tournaments, the biggest sports events around the world, and take up a position. All using the All-Stars coin, a new digital currency that's enabling a sports staking revolution. Why limit yourself to binary choices, wins and losses, when we have all this insight? After all, sport is in the details, the key moments. Let's play the game like it's really played. With a single index price that goes up and down based on real-life performances recorded in thousands of match data points. When your players do well, so do you. Close your position when it suits you. And with all transactions visible on the blockchain, it's secure, quick, and simple. AllStarsDigital gives this generation a new stake in the game. It's time to trade your passion. Join us today at allstarsdigital.io or follow us on social.
Okay. Well, thank you,
very much. Thank you very much for the introduction. Yeah, so for community investors, maybe we can go into the AllStarsDigital platform, how it works for investors and people who want to make bets on the platform, and what sort of sports are you going to be starting with, say, football and cricket, or will you have lots of sports at the start, or will you be expanding it as it goes forward?
Yeah, in short, so that video is like to kind of warm up the audience and to be able for us to explain the product. We are launching the world's first digital sports exchange. We're going to do that in the November time period. And why have we chosen November? Well, I think, there's a lot of, so the landscape in crypto has changed slightly over the last sort of 6 months or so. So we're cognizant of that. But we want to actually get the timing right of our launch. But actually, we can't wait beyond a very critical event that's going to happen towards the end of this year, which is the World Cup that's happening in Qatar. We want our product out there, and we want the community to be able to access that platform and enjoy this brand new product. For the first time, you'll be able to trade football or sports stars, cricket stars and football stars in the same way as you already trade your cryptocurrencies. It's exactly the same way. And so in terms of you can have a position, and that position moves up and down based on the performance of those underlying players. So the timing of our AMA is around introducing you to the launch of our product, and obviously the All Stars coin that goes alongside the launch of the platform because it forms the underlying currency of the ecosystem.
Okay, great, Akash. Yeah, so if we can go into some details about the digital sports exchange, how it's going to work, is it going to be the All-Stars ASC token that will be used on the platform as well?
Yeah, so fundamentally, all transactions will happen in All-Stars coin, but we also recognize that we're going to be catering for a community that are already crypto native, and a large majority of the new audience that comes to this market will probably come from traditional sports fanships. And so they might need to be guided into this world of trading on using digital currency. So we'll provide a really slick and user-friendly on and off-ramping methodology. You'll also be able to bring your current wallets and attach those, and through a seamless process, be able to transact on our platform with, say, Bitcoin or Ethereum, or whatever you're holding in your wallet. But actually, all the grunt work is done on the back, behind the scenes. So we will do the conversion into All-Stars coin back and forth for you.
On the digital sports exchange, you've got a rating system for sports stars. How does that work? You've got in-game and out-game parameters as well, I see on the white paper.
Yeah, so fundamentally, we are a sports performance platform. So performance drives most of the movement. 80% plus of the movement you'll see on sports player performance assets. And that's correct. Well, that's where we want to be. But there are some other fundamental ingredients. Ranking is another method that actually plays into the movement of price. And that's really based around the 75th percentile. So if you're in the top 5 or the bottom 5 of the 2 teams that are playing in any one game, that will also help to affect the movement of that price, because that's actually pushing into the extremities. And then there's obviously peer-to-peer ranking. So a footballer of a certain standing in playing in a certain sort of tier of squad should be performing roughly at the same level of the peer group that they're playing within. So that's the benchmarking element that we've introduced into the pricing methodology. And then fundamentally, it's an open market. So if the participants are pushing the price up in one direction for a particular player, then the price will go up in that direction, because it's a market in its own right. So we think those 4 factors working together are a really fair representation of the performance of any particular athlete.
If I may add something on what Akash was saying, we have very talented people coming from investment banking, from hedge funds. They use the same people used to work at JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, these kind of things. And what we've done is we've built sport indices the same way people in the financial industry build equity indices or commodity indices. So the way it works is we collect our data from independent third-party provider in the likes of Sports Radar and Opta, who are very established data companies, the same data companies that betting companies are using today. So we collect data live on the pitch. So as soon as something happens, let's say Haaland scores a goal, Messi makes an assist, within a few seconds, we receive the data, we process it into our index engine, and then we transform it into index points. So let's say Lewandowski scores a goal, his index price will go up 3.5%. Okay, Haaland scores a hat-trick like he did yesterday for City, his index actually will go up 3 times 3.5%. Okay, so that's 10.5%. Karim Benzema gets yellow carded, his price will go down 1%. Ronaldo misses a penalty, his price will go down 3%. For every single event that happened on the pitch, we collect the data, we process it, we transform it into index point, and then we allow people on our exchange to invest on the kind of a perpetual future, like a token on each player performance. So if you think Lewandowski is going to have a good game, you just buy him, and then wait for the end of the game to cash out, take your gain. If he doesn't perform well, then you can keep your position open for the next game, for the whole week, month, season, or even career, as you can see on the video. And the beauty about our product is compared to what is out there, because today, if you're a sports fan and you want to make money out of your knowledge, the only thing available is betting, okay? And betting is difficult, you know, it's like binary odds, and you have to call the exact event. And if you don't call it right, then basically you lose all your stake. Let's say yesterday you think Haaland is gonna score 2 goals, but actually he scored 3 goals. So even though you get it almost right, you still lose all your stake. While with us, you know, you don't need to call an event, you just need to call a performance. He's gonna perform well. He doesn't have to score, he can make 3 assists, a lot of successful passes, tackles, you know, as long as he performs well, you make money out of it. And that's the main difference actually with us and what's out there today.
So, will multiple people be able to buy the sports player for the matches, the season, the month, the week, or is it just like one person would own an NFT of each player? How does it work?
So this is the same way as you would be buying Tesla stocks or Facebook stocks or Bitcoin. You know, there is an order book, and people can just buy as much as they want. Obviously, as in any order book, there are different levels. Okay, if you want to buy $10,000 worth of Lewandowski, you might just get to the first level. If you want to buy 20,000, you need to lift the second order level of the order book and so on. And because this is a new product, so the order book and the liquidity will be provided by us to start with. But as soon as the community starts to grow, we are going to see people actually coming in and providing liquidity on our behalf. Because ultimately, you know, like if people have a knowledge, I mean, I've been on the financial industry for like 15 years. You know, I used to be head of equity derivatives trading for tier 1 banks in France and in the UK. And I can tell you, even after 15 years, I know way more about football and English Premier League and French League and whatever than about Eurodollar or Tesla stock. So we expect people to come in quite massively and to start trading on our product.
Okay, great. And so, would you only be able to bet on each sport player, player in the team that's playing that match? Can you bet on a win or a loss for either team, or corners, which is really popular in the World Cup? I made a lot of money betting on which team would have the most corners as well.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, Ash.
Well, no. So that's the kind of key difference that we're trying to just make sure that everyone understands in this room, right? So number one, it's not quite betting, right? I understand where that kind of link or association can come from, because we're so used to the only way you can stake in a sport is by going to the sports book operator or your local bookmaker, and this is not that. We're opening up an exchange, which is based where we got all these assets kind of listed, and they represent the performance of each of the football players that they're named after, and it's those performances that lift or drop the price. So it's just so yes. Could you cash in on having a good prediction around the number of corners at the bookmaker? Yes, you probably could. There's probably a kind of bet you could take there. But on our exchange, it's generally about whether you picked that player will perform, and their performance is made up of so many metrics. And it could be that they're challenging and winning the ball, they're shooting on target, they're making possession and moving the ball forward. And those things added up without a goal still moved them to a really good, profitable outcome for you because they performed. And so that's the kind of just shift in the paradigm here, right? So this is a continuously pricing market as opposed to a fixed odds market. So that would be the number one thing we just would love everyone to understand about this product, because it's actually, well, hopefully it looks simplified when you look at it, because it's moving up and down and you're trading it, and just as you do. But the complexity behind this was like huge. It was 2 years to get to this point where it's fluid pricing, and the pricing is intuitive to what you see on the field. That you'll see the price movement, and you know why it's happened. It's because someone's just played an amazing pass or a play, and it's moving the price forward because we've seen that as positive performance. So therefore, some of the differences we've already pointed out, order books, etc., and like an exchange mechanism, but also risk management as well. So if the bookies, once you placed your bet, well, the only two things you can do is you can either cash out or you can wait to the end of the stake, right? You find out where you are. Well, here you've got risk management. You can set where you want to take your profit. You can set where you want to have a stop out. You can set actually different strategies for coming in and out. So it's moving the paradigm into being able to just trade for your staking instead of betting.
And to answer your questions about how many, I mean, today we cover the 5 main European leagues, which are England, Germany, France, Spain, and Italy. So we cover every single player, including subs, within the 20 teams that play the championships. We also cover UEFA Champions League, Europa League. We're going to cover the World Cup, obviously. So that's almost, more than 4,000 football players that you can invest in. And on top of that, we do cover cricket as well, probably like 800 cricket players. And the plan is, as long as we have data available and there are more and more data providers out there, we can cover any sport. So the plan is to start to cover NBA in Q1 2023, esports in Q2 2023, and then we leave it to our community to decide which other sport they want to see. Maybe NFL, NHL, golf, tennis, handball, volleyball. I don't know. That's up to the community to decide.
You're offering a new sort of way of betting, and it's exciting. You in the future, I like to watch tennis, so I can bet for the season to certain players doing really well and then making money off that. I'm wondering what sort of levels of losses or gains you can make. It's maybe if you can set parameters, it's not too high or low. If the player's not playing that well that season and the player's playing exceptionally, sort of what's the range of what you could make and lose depending if they're playing well or poorly?
Yeah, so on every single game, what we do is we rank the 22 players, because obviously strikers, most of the time will score a goal, but defender also can have a good performance, if they make interceptions, tackles, and so on. So we make sure that every single player on the pitch is fairly treated, and usually the top player moves 15% within a game. So that's 15% move up, and the worst performing player will move down by 15%. Over a season, depends. I can give you a couple of examples. Lionel Messi, for me, one of the best, if not the best player ever. He started on our platform 2 years ago at $10. Now he's trading at $60. So it's times 6 in 2 seasons. Benzema starting at $55. Lewandowski, $55. Ronaldo, $40. So over 2-3 seasons, you can see that basically by calling in on the right player, you can get your investment times 4 to times 6. Obviously, it's not linear. Sometimes you're going to have a good game, sometimes a bad game. So you need to make sure, as Akash said, to have like a proper risk management framework, because our product is leveraged. So you need to make sure that you're not going to be stop loss. And as any exchange, we offer take profit, stop loss, a limit order, market orders, pretty much anything. The same way you trade your Bitcoin, we create a new asset class, which is sports player, and you can trade it. We have like more than 500 exchanges today, where you can trade Bitcoin, but none of them actually allow you to do something else. And we're going to be the first exchange to allow a new instrument for 10 years now.
It's great. It's not too high risk, so it's not people are going to enjoy it, be able to gamble. I think what you were saying before, Akash, is like it's not like full on gambling because the risks aren't too high. Because you can set parameters, and also you can hold someone for the whole season until they're actually profitable, and then make a sell that way as well. So it's very entertaining, but not like high risk gambling, I think. Yeah.
I'd like to just make sure that we don't sell it in the wrong way. It is a different way of staking, right? And if you're Web3 native and you know how to go about your trading or setting your trading parameters, this will be natural to you. And then all you're now doing is extending the asset classes that you can trade into an area that is relatable. Very, okay? So that's kind of like the door we're opening. But we better tell you a little bit about what we've learned, okay? So we have been going for a while, and that was just to get this pricing right and absolutely get our timing right for entering into mass market. And this is the AllStarsDigital project, and hopefully we'll continue talking about that till I give you all the details you need to know. But nearly a year ago, we started our project to test our product. And that's our MVP, the minimal viable product. We said we have to go and test this with real people using real money, and really being able to give us strong feedback on where the product is going and if they like it. So we started off setting up an office in Lagos, in Nigeria. Why? Because fanatical about sports. They have really sort of high crypto adoption, so like alternative and innovative products. There's no harm there. They're great at embracing that. And actually, we found that we could get things going, and the way we could just go and express and talk about the product didn't have too many like hurdles or problems around it. And anyway, so we set off with that project, and we started getting really, really good traction. We started getting 400% month-on-month growth of people coming and trying out the product. Now, not everyone stayed, but many of them carried on, and some of them become cheerleaders for this way of like staking in sports. And that community, which we grew in Telegram, grew to about 9,000 members over that small period of time. And we got massive feedback from that, and we improved our product. And it's from that we learned about the win ratio, which is what you talked about. So we've kind of got it right now. So about 33% of traders are winning, 33%. And so 67% is going, it's not going in that direction. But actually, that's kind of the right ratio, because those who are winning are getting a really good kick out of the winning trades that they made, picking those players, getting them on in their portfolio at the right time, getting out of that position at the right time. A little bit of an education around trading anyway, and the discipline around trading. So there's a lot of enjoyment to be had in this way of doing it. And as you said, if you go and stake something at the bookies, your bet is burned at the end of that, whatever that bet period was. But here, you can ride your position until it suits you. So you can get out when you say, "Look, you know what? I've had enough of running with this. I'm gonna close it out now and switch to something else." So that's hopefully where we're trying to change the market and the thinking around this. There's 4.5 billion sports fans around the world, and so we're trying to give them a different way of getting access to staking.
Best of like fantasy football and gambling, mainstream, but mixing it up and long-term sort of bets, and the stock exchange, fantasy stocks as well is huge as well. So yeah, that's really appealing to me. And you've also got an in-game arbitrage controls, so you're trying to stop any sort of people trying to game the system. How does that work?
Well, we need to run an orderly market, okay? And just so we didn't learn this, right? Okay, so the bigger gambling operators already taught us this lesson, right? There are high-risk scenarios that turn up in games, okay? Like a VAR, or a penalty just about to be taken. At that time, all the sports books kind of close or suspend for a small amount of time. And so we looked at this and we said, we've got to prevent doing this. But actually, I'll leave this, Yusuf, to answer this properly. But actually, the best thing to do to have an orderly market so that everyone's price is protected is actually to mini suspensions at those times.
Yeah, correct, Akash. Because the reason why we think suspending the market for a few seconds is the right thing to do, because there is latency. People sitting in a stadium watching live, people watching on a TV, people listening to the radio, they have between maybe 5 seconds to maybe even sometimes 30 seconds latency, if you're using your internet to watch the game on IPTV. So we think it's fair for everybody to be able to trade, not having the same information. Otherwise, some participants will take advantage of others. So what we do is we are connected almost live within a second to what happens on the pitch. So as soon as we get the news that a goal has been scored or something that will move the price significantly happens, we freeze the order book until the information first is confirmed, if the goal has been disallowed or has been confirmed, if the VAR happened, penalty, whatever. And then once everything has been confirmed, we reopen the order book for people to trade on. And as Akash said, we have been doing this exercise for 6 months now in Nigeria, and the feedback is actually quite good. People are happy with that because they feel that they're protected.
And what's the profits built into the exchange, and what will it be used for? Will it be go towards token buyback and burns, marketing, expanding the platform and the exchange?
Sure. So maybe I'll start with something, and then Akash, I'll let you also finish it. There is a mechanism that is not complex, but requires some attention. So if something is not clear, I'm happy to repeat it again. So as Akash said at the beginning, we behind the scene, what we do is whatever currency you bring into our exchange, we convert it for you into AAC. You don't need to do it yourself. It happens automatically behind the scene as soon as you want to trade. So actually, if you bring BTC, USDT, ETH, even fiat money, then whatever you bring, we buy the AAC tokenomics. So that's actually a very strong buying pressure on the AAC token, which is proportional to the volume we're going to trade. Okay. So then we give you Messi, Lionel Messi, Lewandowski, Benzema, whatever contract you want to buy. And then once you want to cash out, we give you the option. Either you cash out in AAC, and then you can stake them and get a yield on that, or you can get your initial token back, BTC, USD, USDT, whatever you want. But keep in mind, because the odds are always, you know how it works, on the exchange favor, overall, whatever money comes in, there is less money coming out. So whatever money we have converted into AAC, we're going to convert back only a small portion of it. So there's going to be a huge selling pressure, a buying pressure, let's say for 100. And then for every $100 buying pressure, they're going to be probably like $40 selling pressure. So what we've built, we built a process that is skewed toward always having a buy pressure as soon as people trade on our exchange. So which means that actually 100% of the revenue of the platform is converted into AAC tokens. So meaning that the investment of whatever reward of the platform is making goes back into the token by construction. Then obviously we have other things as staking, as some buyback and burn mechanism, and unless Akash explained those. But I don't know if my explanation was clear about the skewing mechanism toward AAC buying pressure.
I see. Yeah, you used to. And is the ASC token going to be a zero tax token then? So it's easily tradable.
Yes, because of the jurisdiction. We're from the jurisdiction we're running from. There isn't any sort of tax attraction on that token, and that's in the contract and the specification for it. So yeah, completely right. So look, there's going to be growth coming from multiple dimensions, and like hopefully this comes. I mean, I can explain this as well enough. So utility will be unlocked over time. So when you first start, we're going to have all traders coming to the platform that want to do sports trading. They will get stake and earn. They will get discounts on commissions, VIP access. So we've got some really good goodies for them for having AllStars coin by coming to the market with it and holding it in your wallet. But when you're transacting, when you're buying Ronaldo, you actually have to buy Ronaldo in the ASC form. So that's the piece that Yusuf was covering just a moment ago. Then he goes into the transaction model of the exchange, and then you may win from that, and you might have that back in your wallet, but you may want to just recycle that back into the platform, whatever the choice is for the trader. That will happen around the AllStars exchange, and then there is a fantasy product coming to the market which is based around this. So all the underlying asset classes can be bundled together in your fantasy squad, and that's some other project that we will launch around this coming in the new year. Now that is likely to attract a lot of followers and users because there's nothing like it in the market right now. So we've been watching the fantasy space in India and North America, and we've got something really, really clever lined up. And there will be fantasy contests which will be running coin. So the utility of this AllStars coin will start to increase there. So you unlock fantasy contests and win coins in contests as well. So a lot more reason to hold it and have it and use it. So the whole thing now as an ecosystem is starting to grow in usefulness and utility around the coin. At the same time, the volumes increase and the number of participants on our exchange start to increase. And as they start to increase and the volumes increase, the revenue increases, and the revenue gets the buyback mechanism burning. A buyback and a hold from our side, we start to get that whole mechanism going. And therefore, the value of the coin starts to stabilize and improve over that time. And so we've modeled that out. I don't want to make any promises here, but some of that stuff is covered in the white paper. But we know that bringing all those elements together could create the right environment for a really sustainable coin.
Super exciting, yeah. Hey, Cash, and you're going to have the All-Stars NFTs. I was wondering what's going to happen around the collections.
Yeah, just to finish on, and that is because we've got such a large addressable market, and that's really where it's all coming from. That are going to be just excited about doing, coming to play or be entertained by this new product. Now, NFTs, right? So really, really excited about the NFTs. Now, we've got something special lined up, right? Okay, so you've probably looked at the white paper and said, look, there's collectible items coming, right? And those we're really excited about, obviously, putting those on the market and actually having them at a really affordable level. We're sort of starting, and I'll give you a sneak peek, we're probably thinking about like whether we can offer those at the $10 level, right? And some of them will be gems. Some of them will represent a moment in time in sport. They'll never be repeated. It means a lot to certain individuals. And those moment cards will probably end up being worth a lot over time, especially for a player that may have retired. At the end of this season, we know there may not be a Messi playing at top league level football, certainly in the European leagues. So that's something that's exciting, that's coming down the line after the launch. But there could be something that we're doing way before the launch, right? In the October period, and this is subject to, but I'd like to think that we're absolutely going to go with this. We're going to put out a special series NFT to mark the launch, and that will be 11 players that are part of our squad, the All-Star squad. So they represent characters that we have created, which are combination characters of some of the best footballers ever. And there will be lasting utility within those because they will be linked potentially to a combination fund that represents those players on our platform. Now, I'm probably not saying this clearly enough, but I want to leave it relatively vague because we want to reveal this over time. And especially we want to be starting to talk to our Discord community around this, who are going to probably you get very excited about this product. And so you're probably asking me a bit too early about this one, but we'll soon come out and reveal a lot more about this special series.
Actually, I mean, I got excited looking at the NFTs, and I thought, oh, I'll come up with an idea. All the goals of that player in the season would be on a video file for special sort of NFTs, and every season you could, reproduce the goals for each player. Like when I was growing up, we had the football annual sticker album, and there's so many ways you can run with the NFT series in the future, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many ways you can work with the NFTs, and there's some sort of gamification that we're working on where we're sort of putting together really interesting characters, and I think it's kind of fair to say we're working with some developers who work with one of the biggest games on the planet, actually. So so we're already seeing some really exciting artwork coming through and really exciting creative ideas in that respect as well.
And in the future as well, you're looking to have a metaverse where legendary sporting moments in augmented reality. That was super exciting to read about as well.
Well, that's so far off, but we've no, that's so far. And I just want to be clear about that. So we don't want to overpromise in that direction, but the stuff that I just talked about is actually quite realistically an answer to where we're going in the metaverse. So it's just a bit of a shame I can't say too much about it right now because we haven't done the big reveal. But when we can do that, you'll know totally what I mean. These characters can come to life in the metaverse.
So I mean, they are. We're going to be teasing that kind of stuff soon. So please do follow us on Telegram. You're right here now. It's really easy to click on us. The links are in the chat, as you'll see. They're pinned. You can see them straight away. And in fact, it is worth noting that we have a group community as well, So I think we're linked as just All Stars Digital there, but we've got an All Stars Digital community. So if you search All Stars Digital community, it's worth hooking up with that one because that's where the chat goes on. But all of these announcements and these teasers that we're talking about with, for example, the NFTs, and when it comes to the coin, and when it comes to the All Stars Digital Exchange launch too, all of that is going to be, you'll hear it first. You'll hear all of the detail first in Telegram. So make sure you've hooked up to us before the end of this session.
Okay, go ahead.
Glenn, one question I got asked in the last AMA, and I want to make sure that we get this covered really well, is at some point in this chat, someone's going to ask, how do I invest? And we've got a website which has got a form on it for private investors. And I just want to tell this room that we've put a special code aside for this room, knowing how, we know that it's got a great reputation. And so we have put a code together. The code is WHALE9, WHALE 9. If you put that, if anyone at any point thinks they've heard enough and they've looked at the DD around us and they want to come in, then there's a 30% discount available to the TGE price on the coin, which will be launching in the end of October. But so the time is running short. So WHALE9, put your details in. There's a link, I think, that we put in the chat. If not, you find it in the community group or the community group on Telegram.
Yeah, so we'll post that certainly by the end of this session, the link to that private round. It's basically on the AllStarsDigital.io website. So you can go to the website, but we will put in a special link for the private round. And, but you need to know that the code is WHALE9, right? Because I don't think we'll post that code, right, Akash?
No, that's exclusive to this group.
Okay,
yeah,
great guys. So how does the private sale work? What's the minimum maximum contribution, and is there a vesting period for investors?
I'll let Yusuf tell us about the vesting period and the minimum maximum, yeah?
Yeah, sure. So vesting period is basically 25% gets unlocked at TGE, which we think is enough, to get, especially with the discount of 30%, 25% being unlocked at TGE should be enough, for people to get their capital back. And then there is another 25% every month. So 25% TGE, 25% month 1, 25% month 2, and then 25% after 3 months. That's the vesting. In terms of size, obviously, I think there is no minimal, no maximal, but just, I think in this community to be reasonable, I think anything starting from like $100 is fine, because then we will need to process it, get some information about each individual. So yeah, I think it makes sense above $100.
I do need to say, though, there is a maximum, and I'll tell you why. That allocation is jealously shared with some of our plans around certainly launch pads and exchanges. So it would be that right now we're not talking about a maximum, but it will run out.
What's the marketing plans going forward? I mean, there's a long time before launch, so you've started an AMA tour, have you? And you're going to branch out. And how are you going to promote the exchange in the future? And are you looking to offer maybe referral for investors or influencers to come to the exchange?
Referrals will do, without doubt. And so we'll issue codes around that because we can track that. We've got CRM in the back end, so we'll know exactly where the flow came from. In terms of marketing, I'm going to hand that over to Dave, who's just doing an amazing job on that front for us.
Yes, Akash, what do you want to know?
Well, I think when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about growth of community, messaging, and how we're going to get to some of the various milestones that we talked about in the launch plan.
Sure. So I guess ultimately we're working on kind of 2 key areas really. We've got effectively the exchange, All Stars Digital Exchange is a sort of mass market offering. We've talked about there being 4.5 billion football fans across the planet. And to be fair, a lot of those people they like to have a bet too on their sporting events. And so this is sort of the area where everyone's interested in what the trading exchange actually offers. So it's sports performance, and the really amazing thing that we have, a really, really amazing thing, is this single objective mathematical measure of a sports star's performance. You can really, really say who was the man of the match or the woman of the match based on the events that took place in their performance in a game. So this is so cool. I don't see this anywhere else. It's like you kind of read your press on after a game, and they'll talk about player markings, 1 to what out of 10, and it's just made up by the journalist. This person got 7, this person got 8, this person got 5. None of it is based on true measurement, and I don't see that true measurement anywhere apart from in the All-Stars domain, where we can really say this player was the best based on the points that they scored. So this is really, really fun in terms of a mass market offering. So clearly we're going out through Twitter and Instagram in particular, and we're posting sort of entertainment and insight, sporting insight, which should engage the group, kind of based around sports and betting. Look, it's fair to say we're kind of an early stage of rolling this out. So really, we've just got our kind of content scheduled together in this area, and we're just starting to sort of build our numbers in and around Twitter and Instagram. So please join us on Twitter. If you simply search AllStarsDigital, you'll find us, and you can like us and follow us there. So AllStarsDigital on Twitter, particularly well worth just kind of seeing what our entertainment offering looks like there. So there's great, videos, animated graphics, sports insights. So that's the kind of mass market side of our conversation. And then, of course, the coin and, the sort of associated products like the NFTs, are going to appeal much more to the expert investor. This group here is a prime example. So this is the kind of community who are in the know, and we're going to be letting you know much, much more about the details of all of those products, the launches, the coin utility, the dates, the essential dates that you need to know about, and of course, like all of those offers that Akash has hinted towards there. We've got a discount offer there on the table today. This is being offered literally only to this group. I'm looking up; there's 266 people on it. So, this is a really kind of limited offer for this kind of community. So please do kind of try to take advantage of that. Like I say, AllStarsDigital.io is our website. There's lots and lots of kind of pretty much all of the background information that you need on us is in there. You can really dig in. There's really everything you need to know. That video you saw earlier is there. You'll have all our FAQs, our white paper, our roadmap is there. There's the profile of the team, which is exceptional. These guys. I hope you've picked it up just how much experience they have in and around, kind of finance, financial instruments, and algorithms, which are pricing algorithms. It's extraordinary and an amazing set of people to be involved with for myself personally. So yeah, like I say, check us out on the website there, allstarsdigital.io. And please also just track us here on Telegram, because this is where you're going to get all the prime detail first. And as I say, you can join us on AllStarsDigital, which is linked in our chat here, but also search AllStarsDigital community for where the conversations are going on. Okay.
Great, Dave. Let's move on to community investors. Time's moving on, so let's get them some questions in for them. Syed, you had a question for the AllStarsDigital team. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. Okay, so I've read on the internet that Akash had been a CTO previously at a football index, which collapsed during the start of the COVID. It was also based on the idea of the creating stock market for football. I know it was more of a betting platform, but I want to know that from your previous experience with Football Index, how is All-Star Digital business model more improved and sustainable for long term?
Well, thank you very much for that question, Syed, and I really appreciate that you asked it. Yeah, look, so how did I get here? So I've been 20 years plus in financial services. I was the CTO of a company. My first CTO role was like for FXCM securities, where I learned almost every single asset class to build an exchange-based product with every multi-asset platform. So learned a lot about like pricing, trading, and exchange execution there. Then I went on to do a couple of other jobs around equities and FX, etc. So I've got pretty conversant with the language of finance. But then all of that came together when I got approached by a company called Football Index, and I ended up taking a great shine to the product. I was fascinated by this emerging and very challenging asset type that had emerged. You were able to trade footballs for the first time on a fake stock exchange, and I loved the idea. And I joined as a CTO in the hope that I could take that product to take it to the next level and make it a truly financial services product. So along the line were all the sort of steps that you would normally take: put a proper exchange in place under NASDAQ, go ahead and get under the FCA and all that. Some of those things were a great roadmap when I kind of like joined, and I had lots of enthusiasm about making those happen. But COVID hit, and it changed everything. Everything started becoming tactical, a survival mechanism. There was, a new thing to survive every day, right? Pressure came on the market, lots of sell pressure from people needed to leave their positions. And all of a sudden, the work that had been done for 4 years looked like it was going to get unwound very quickly. And that's when I really started understanding the real stresses of the problem, the business and the product that had been built. It was built on a gambling paradigm. It's very complicated to keep that moving forward under lots of regulatory pressure and under the pressure of a market that's moving downwards. So that's a complicated thing. Secondly, it was a peer-to-peer market only. So it didn't have these other elements in it that we talked about, the fundamentals moving because of performance. It was moving because people were buying and selling. And actually now their reasons for buying and selling under COVID had changed dramatically. So this is like starting to put more pressure on the whole situation. Plus, it wasn't a proper order book. So order book was implemented just to kind of keep moving forward, but it actually didn't have all the ingredients that you needed. So it didn't have the risk management and the order setup strategy that you would need in a real order book. And fundamentally, it wasn't built by financial services people. So it wasn't a financial services product. It was a gambling product. And so therefore, a lot of these things started to create a lot of strain and break down the thing. Dividends was the only mechanism by which you would want to buy or sell a player. And actually that became the downfall, because that seemed to be the only lever the company had for making the products more desirable. And actually, fundamentally, when they cut the dividends to a level that they could afford, that started to create a run on the market. Now, looking back at that, I've looked at this product and worked with my team, Yusuf, Dev, Mark, the whole team, and we've looked at every failing that there was at Football Index, and we've made sure that that does not happen out on this product. This product is the fully fledged product which runs as a financial asset, a true financial asset. It's based on a kind of a futures or CFD style derivative model, and it works. Which is why we don't make crazy claims like how much yield or whatever you could potentially get. Those are left to your trade and your market position and your risk appetite. We know that. We're not going to say anything beyond that. So if you would, I mean, I'm glad you brought it up, but actually what you got from that is a huge amount of learning, a huge amount of capability to reflect and see the products that don't work and the products that can work. And now I'd like to say, with this team and this product and this opportunity here, we're sitting on the doorstep of a new dawn in Web3. This is absolutely the right deliverable.
Okay, got it. Thank you for explaining that very nicely and clearing up all the aspects of it. Thank you so much. Over to you, Glenn.
The question, Syed. Let's move to Aisha. You had a question for the AllStarsDigital team. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. So I was thinking, will off-pitch activities of the players also going to cause negative or positive index movements? For example, any player is doing charity work, etc., can have positive effect on the index. or if any player misbehaves with his fans, it will cause negative effects. So, what would you like to say about this?
I can take that one, Akash. Hi, Aisha. Thanks for your question. So we thought a lot about it, and ultimately we've decided not to consider those kind of information or data because we want to make sure that whatever we do is auditable, relatable, and auditable as well, which means that data is data. So as soon as you start to get something which is subjective, he does a charity, how are you going to basically decide, how much you give to a charity? So if he gives 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and also social media. Sometimes you can have an article about Ronaldo. Some people can say, actually, it's a positive one. And other people say, no, actually, it's a negative one. So we found out, that it was very difficult, to judge those things. And we've decided just to go with pure on-pitch data performance.
That apart from getting a seat or ticket for watching the All-Stars football matches in the Metaverse arenas, so I want to know, will users allowed to customize their avatars and communicate with people sitting beside them or cheer or shout when their favorite player performs well? And also, if they are allowed to shout or cheer up, then will other users watching the game sitting beside them can hear them as well, because it might create disturbance for other people due to people shouting in their ears?
I'm happy to take that. And I'm going to answer that by stretching my own imagination. I think what we did in the white paper was talk about a lot of the stuff that we can do because we're doing it now, and lots of stuff that we know we're going to do anyway because we know we've got the capabilities to do it. And actually, what we really wanted to do is make sure that everyone sees that we're going in a certain direction, which is always pushing the envelope, always innovating, and moving our imagination. So those things in the white paper aren't really based on us knowing all the answers. They're based on us pushing our ideal to say we are really up for the big journey to wherever technology can take us, because we're going to keep on innovating. So the answers to whether you can mute the person next door, or whether there's going to be disturbance, or whether you're going to sit where exactly you want in the arena, we don't know the answers to those right now because we haven't done the detailed work to work it out. But what we're going to say is that as we move along this Web3 journey, we're going to build in a lot more community where we get the answers, and we're going to keep observing this place and keep ahead of technology to the point where we're going to take this product and take it to the maximum point it can go to. And if that includes us having the greatest mashup stars in the world that are using AI to produce them for your entertainment in that arena, we'll do it. But what I've got to say right now, the white paper, we haven't got down to the details that we have on that point as we have to the point that we understand our current product. So it's not quite worked out yet.
Okay, understood. And thank you so much for answering my question.
Thank you.
So the question, let's move to Western Beast. You had a question for the AllStarsDigital team. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Okay, I have a couple of questions, and the first is from the introduction video. I wanted asking, if your introduction video, can you trade based on athlete's performance? What happens when the athlete faces something that negatively affects his career? We have the example of athletes that test positive for doping. Wouldn't that cause the trade to spiral downward, or how would your team deal with this?
Yeah, I'm happy to take this one. So as I mentioned to Aisha, basically a negative or positive drug test, that's not something that we handle because it's outside of the pitch. As for the impact on the pitch, well, obviously, if the player gets banned, from playing, that is the same thing as getting. We deal with it as basically he's not playing anymore, okay, and we retire his price from the platform. Same thing happens when a player goes to another league that we don't cover. When Ibrahimovic went from AC Milan to LA Galaxy, right? We don't cover the MLS. So we've retired his price. Same thing happened when actually a player just retires, as simple as that. So we don't deal with off-pitch data, but whatever impact happens on pitch, which is basically player not playing, then we remove it. Same thing happens when a player is injured. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, Virgil van Dijk, the Liverpool defender, was off for the whole season. So what we do is that we freeze his price to the last price until he's able to play again. Because we think if he's not playing, then there is no way we can value his performance. So his performance isn't changed until the day he's back on the pitch and playing again.
All right.
And if you think that basically a drug test is going to impact negatively a player, well, obviously the coach will not put him on the pitch, and if he does, meaning that he thinks he's like at full capacity to play. If you want to short him, selling him, feel free to do so, but that might go against the coach's vision. I'm just saying, it's a view that you can take, and that's a risk that you can take. And that's the beauty about it. Like everyone has a different opinion on a player, how he's going to perform, what things impact him. Breaking up with his girlfriend, doing charity, changing clubs, going to a new league, whatever.
But I would actually say there's only so much we can cover with data, and actually there's going to be elements that are covered by sentiment, the participant sentiment, and if people who are trading that player, I genuinely believe it's worth shorting or selling out on that player because of something like that. It's a bad press. Then it'll push the price down. It just will. So there is some that dynamic that's included in this. But as soon as he starts playing again, he's back on the index. So the price will start naturally regulating itself back to its performance.
All right. My next question is about the algorithm in itself. I saw the in-game ranking and a slight description of how the Aldrich algorithm works, but I just wanted to get something clear. When you talk about the Aldrich algorithm, is it developed by a team of technical analysts from your team, or does the algorithm use data based on analysis by third-party experts?
Well, Yusuf is very close on this because he's been very, very closely involved in the.
We use third-party data. We don't make up the data. We use them from established data provider, the same ones that provide data to Bet365. Every betting company basically use the same data provider as we do. Then what we do is we process this data into our index engine, and the index engine has all the rules. How are we going? How much is a goal? How much a goal is when you're Liverpool playing against Tottenham, you're Liverpool playing against Burnley, you're playing for the Premier League, you're playing for the Champions League. We have a different weight for every single event, and that's the rule that we set in stone, that our index engine, and those rules are basically not amended anymore, and they are audited the same way. Any financial index is audited and is built. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we have some of the cleverest brain from the financial industry, and these guys have been doing that for the past 15 years. So we just have them on board to basically build the same type of logic, but for a sports player. So we follow pretty much the same regulations and the same standards.
All right, understood. I understand this now. I have a few more questions I'll be asking in Telegram group because we're out of time. And I really appreciate the project. It's quite detailed and it's very unique. I wish you guys the best and I hope you stay bullish moonward. Over to you, Glenn.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
The questions, Western BC. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We could talk for hours. It's going to be the world's first digital sports exchange in crypto, and it's also opening a brand new sport betting idea to the world as well. So it's super exciting for our community investors to hear about the AllStarsDigital
Thanks,
project, vision for the future. It's really super, and you're thinking outside the box and, like you say, innovating and creating something unique for crypto. So it's really exciting going forward. So we always say Welcome Talks for research and educational purposes, but it's not financial advice. You can check out the white paper, the website, the official socials, they're in our main chat. And if we've still got a few hands up, unfortunately, we've run out of time. So if you want to head over to their socials, I'm sure they'll be able to answer any questions after the AMA. Thank you very much to Dave, Akash, and Youssef for coming today.
No, amazing. We've really enjoyed it, and it's really good to talk to an audience like this. And we hope you come over to the community. We'll carry on talking there, and just follow us. Like, we're going to do this together.
So we're going to do that in the AllStarsDigital community group then, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Great.
I think Alex is here for Spin the Wheel as well. We've got two $50 lucky winners.
Yeah, I'm here, Glenn. Let me share my screen, and well, I'll shuffle the wheel a bit, and we'll do 2 spins for $50 each. And yeah, the idea of sports performance betting, guys, it's amazing. Like, I've been listening in, and it sounds super cool. And this is something that I'll be able to take to my dad. I'm not a big bettor myself, but he's always with his little, like, calculations and all that, and always betting on football. So now I can tell him, you know what, you don't have to bet on either this team or that team winning. You sign up with these guys. You just bet on the player that you like, that will perform well, and that's it. And you're getting your value there. They'll take care of everything, the index points and quantifying it and all the math behind it. And yeah, this sounds like something super exciting, and I like the concept a lot, guys. So I know we kind of keep things really high level here and try to get everybody to understand the concept, but if you are more on the technical side, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer any and all of your questions. They seem like really stand-up people and really knowledgeable with a lot of experience in the space. So yeah, do make sure to check out the website and join the Telegram, get involved. And we got that code, the Whale 9 code for the private round. So if you're interested in that, definitely give it a try. So thank you.
Yeah, that link is also in the chat.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, Noah's posted it in our main chat as well. So
yeah,
check it out there. So thank you guys for tuning in, everybody, and thank you for the AllStarsDigital team for being here. It's certainly something unique and super exciting for our community. I love it personally. So thank you guys. It's really been an awesome one. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care, and I'll finish the record and send a copy over for you to share with your community. We'll have the YouTube stream recorded as well, and then I'll send that into our main chat for anyone who couldn't join the call today. It's been great speaking to you.
Cheers,
guys.
Glenn. Yeah,
cool. Christian,
thank you.
Missed your question. We'll see you on the community. Bye.
Okay, awesome, guy.
Bye.